Good evening, or good night, depending on where you are. Tonight, playing Vampire Survivors. I know this game kind of surged up in popularity or invisibility like a couple months back, and I did buy it back then. I played it a lot, and I guess tonight I just kind of want to chill and play some more. So I think I'll just get started. Okay. Yeah, I got most of the characters so far. I think I'm missing one. Tugnala is my current favorite. Not just because she's a very obvious Bayonetta pastiche, but because her stats are probably the best. Just uncapped might be one of the best things you can have, because it lets you kill things more quickly. And so I think what I want to do is try to get the final secret character that I haven't gotten yet, which is going to be the Dairy Plant. His character named Green Death. It has a random chance of appearing, and if you did manage to kill it in a certain way, and then press a key combination in a certain window, then you can unlock that character. So let's see if I can try to go for that. And if I don't, I'll probably just continue to run anyway, because it can't hurt to have more money. Especially since now they've added a money sink where you can buy golden eggs that provide a stat boost for the current character you're using. Which, you know, it's not a huge stat boost. You need to get a ton of eggs, and also all random too, so it's really only there if you have a lot of money in your pocket and you have nothing else to spend it on. So yeah, every level up you can pick between a weapon or sometimes passive items that appear, and once you progress enough, you'll get like 3 ways to influence your choices. You can have a reroll, which will give you 3 different choices to pick from if the current ones aren't to your liking, or you can just skip, which just lets you get some experience and not pick anything. And there's a banish, which will eliminate a particular weapon or item from the pool for the rest of that run. So what I'm going to do is, I don't need to... Yeah, I'm not really going for anything, so I'll just pick a weapon. Say... the Bible. So yeah. Kind of funny, because I think I'm getting at this streaming thing for 3 weeks now. I have to admit that it's starting to get a little hard to maybe muster up the motivation sometimes, because, well, I guess it's just a combination of this and wanting to watch other streams. Kind of funny, because those streams were like particular reason why I wanted to start streaming in the first place. I have to go between doing my thing and watching other people's things, so I guess it's a decision you have to make, trying to balance. Kind of. Imagine people who don't do this full time might also have a job to do on top of that, so I can only imagine what it must be like for them. Say, work from 8 to 5, and then go home and start streaming. Which, I guess depending on what you're doing, might be just an extension of what you would normally do in the evening, but imagine for the folks who have a larger following, might be just more to juggle, especially if you're trying to put out content with a bit more effort into it. feel like if I ever go down that path, I would definitely have to maybe start a schedule, just try to figure out how much time I can devote to my daytime activities and my nighttime activities. I think if I were to perhaps try to make a serious play into streaming, I would probably start with like maybe getting custom assets. The current set I'm using kind of just came with Streamlabs, and the transition I picked up, it was like a free thing that was also from the same theme from the creators of this one, so guessing a logo might also help. Just a nice visual for people to focus on. I know trying to get like a custom avatar to use would be a bit pricier. At least I know it's very pricey. I looked around to see the pricing for like live 2D avatars, and it seems like in general, like the standard pricing for it seems to be $300 for a half body and $600 for a full body, and that's a lot of money for someone like me who probably doesn't want to jump headlong into this. That is a bit of an asking price. Probably afford that up front, but again, it's a really huge investment. I want to try to at least ease my way into it. That's why after some looking around, I saw people recommending this program called vtuber, which is what like my current picture is from. Just picked out some clothing items, a hairstyle, and other stuff, and just took a screenshot. I think I saw there were ways that you can export a vtuber model and kind of get that avatar ready, but then would come to the process of rigging, which I did not look up the prices of that, but I imagine that's also probably pretty costly now. Which, yeah, figured if I were to try out the rigging aspect, I might just try to learn it myself. Imagine it's probably some good tutorials on that. Okay, I need to start seriously looking at. Okay, so I have the Tiragisu, which goes with the guns, the lightning ring goes with the duplicator, the axe goes with the candelabrador. Means I need a spellbinder and a tracked orb. The tracked orb is on the map for this one. I just need to keep an eye out for spellbinder. I can afford one more freebie item, as it were. I picked up the tome. Tome has cooldown, so that's just super useful in any context. Imagine being able to launch your weapons more often is always useful. I don't know why I'm going down right. I should probably go up or left. That's where the tracked orb is. So I can get the upgrade for the cold water. Pretty obvious Pugnala is a Bayonetta reference. Which even has even starts with 2 dual gun weapons in their inventory, much like how Bayonetta is iconic for being able to quadruple wield weapons, especially when it comes to 4 pistols. Probably wait for another freebie item. So I have the spinach. The tomes are kind of most useful. Alright, spellbinder. I need that for the Bible. Different than just impulsively pick up the... You see, here's a good Spanish because I don't want Skull Maniac. Care about Hollow Heart, which again. Max upgrade the gun. Yeah. I remember when trying to figure out evolutions for the weapons was a bit harder. I know they didn't tell you the upgrade path. Like, they didn't tell you if you had the an item in or weapon in the list would let you do an evo until a few updates in. And even then, you still have to actually evolve the weapon first before they just let you know in the menu, so I guess it's a good compromise. Kind of lets people figure it out, but after you figured it out, you don't need to try to keep it in mind. The game will just remind you of it. Do you know, people seem to give modern games a kind of a bad rap because some people feel like the games get too hand-holdy at times, that they just guide you or try to hand everything to you on a plate. The type of people who want challenge, who want to feel like they've accomplished something, which I can understand. You know, some people, yeah, there's a whole group of people out there who do the challenge runs type of thing, where they play games with certain restrictions or in a certain way, or try to complete them as fast as they can. And I get it. Like, yes. That was also kind of a tenet of the old school, where games were deliberately hard, so definitely not to challenge people, but doing so. I can appreciate games that try to be more accessible. Things like having easier difficulties or just straight up assist modes, which just eliminate certain features, like maybe just make you straight up invincible or remove all the enemies or give you unlimited jumps. I'm fine with that. But you know what? If more people get to enjoy the game, that's ultimately what matters, right? Especially if it's like, say, a single-player game where there's like no leaderboards or anything like that. It's like, you know what? If someone, like, say, wants to play Celeste, and they want to go into the assist mode and just activate unlimited jumps, you know what? That's fine. I'm fine with that, right? I can still play it in the with the default settings. I can play it with double jumps only. I can play it with having that risk of death, and still can enjoy the story. But for someone who might not have the ability or the time to get through Celeste platforming challenges, say being able to just not have to worry about that, that's fine, right? Especially with something like Celeste, because Celeste has a really good story, and it'd be a real shame if someone wants to experience the story but they can't because they're not quite skilled enough to get through the platforming challenges. Now they can. That's something I can appreciate. Now, the one concession I would give to, say, the people who might not like accessibility is, like, say, in a multiplayer context where if it just leans too hard one way, like say accessibility just makes well, it's not even accessibility, it's more like just like, you know, making things easy, like say eliminating certain skill mechanics or something like that. I can at least sort of understand that. But otherwise, yeah, I'm for more accessibility in games. Let more people appreciate them. I know, Dairy Plant. Currently it's like considered one of the harder stages in Vampire Survivors. Or one of the harder regular stages. Only because enemies tend to be a bit more durable. The fun thing about picking up items in the level is that they don't count towards your limit, so if you have 6, but you pick up a 7th, and you're still good, they let you take it. Which kind of that works a little bit into strategy too, so that's got you can help you, say, determine which weapons you want to pick up, or how many freebies you can have. There's a bit more choice, and especially on the levels in which you can move like in 360 degrees like this one, because even though you have a time limit of 30 minutes, you're just not going to have enough time to reach every item in this zone, so you do have to make a few decisions on what items you want to pick up and what weapons you want to get accordingly. Things like that. But yeah. From what I've read, apparently, this stage is the only regular stage that allows you to evolve weapons before the 10-minute time limit. Every other stage requires you to survive 10 minutes before you can start evolving your weapons, but this one lets you do it before. Imagine. It's just that difficult. This is kind of funny, because for the most part this game is a really huge DPS check. It's really there to just kind of track whether you've got enough upgrades, enough managed to consistently upgrade your weapons, whether you have enough of the power-ups from the main menu, whether you perhaps picked up the right passives. If you manage to do that, you should be able to mow down the enemies in your path without much issue. But until then, you just have to grind money and or characters until you get the ones you need to have enough DPS that'll allow you to punch through the enemies. I have to admit, I did not see them update the Arcanas to allow you to re-roll them, so basically means that I'm just going to save all my monies for re-rolls for re-rolling the Arcana, because items tend to come by pretty quickly. Arcanas, however, you only have up to 2 opportunities during each stage to pick the ones you need, so you have to be very careful when getting the ones you want, which I fortunately was not. But again, it shouldn't matter too much because my goal is not to survive. My goal is to just try to unlock the character you can get from here. So. So if I happen to be suboptimal, so be it. It's like, man, the really bad habit I have for this game is just trying to be optimal, even though I absolutely do not need to be in order to get through the thing. I think it just kind of stems towards my habits in particular have something of a well, I wouldn't say it was a perfectionist streak, but I'm just really, really worried that I might not be able to maximize something that I should be able to. Which, kind of fundamentally absurd for a game like this, because it doesn't really require you to be maximally effective in order to reach the end. Unfortunately, I think we're past the two-part time periods in which the secret boss is supposed to appear, but that's okay. I think I'm just gonna roll through the rest of it and take my money and go. Oh boy. Enemies are popping up. Like flies. Oh, there we go. Our first Evo weapon. Thunder Loop. And a bit. The only reason I pick up the Thunder Ring is because the duplicator, the item that you use to evolve the Thunder Ring, is absolutely awesome. Because it just gives you more projectiles, which is always, always useful. That means you fill the screen with more bullets. Which is just a straight increase to DPS for all of your weapons. Managed to upgrade most of my weapons except for the Santa Water. That'll be what I work on next. We're in the part of the stage where level ups come by fast and quick. Somehow I have all the weapons upgraded now. I should go for the armor next. And as well. Damage reduction couldn't hurt, especially since these are now at a point where they can hit me fairly hard, and if I get into the crowd wrong, then they're gonna zap me in my health pretty quickly. Thankfully it's not... the crowd isn't so huge that I can't bob and weave my way through them. Now we're encountering golems. Golems. I've never bothered to check if this game has a bestiary or not. It'd be kind of funny if they did. I want to see just kind of other irreverent jokes they can put in for all of them. I'm just amused by this game's how much it wears its Castlevania inspiration on its sleeve. Like, yeah, most base game that came out, you have the bad guy who's a vampire, the guy who's obviously a Belmont reference, the Alucard reference, the all sorts of other references. And with updates, they've started getting through other stuff. Like, I just remember seeing the Bayonetta reference character being endlessly amused by that. And then, not too long after, they added the Okami reference character, Amaterasu. I forget what they're called in this game. And now I'm just wondering what other references they could throw in here. Like, I am half expecting them to just put in a Dante reference. Imagine since they already got the dual pistols weapons in there, and probably just throw in a sword or something. Maybe reference his famous stinger move. Just a thrust in a direction you're going. That idea's free. Expect a check in the mail. Any day now. I guess if they want to continue the Capcom train, they could do it with a Ghost and Goblins reference. Although they already have a weapon that kind of fires straight in the direction you're facing, so it'll probably be something else. Oh, this is gonna come as a shock, but unfortunately not knowledgeable enough about Ghosts and Goblins to say what other weapons they could perhaps be inspired by. I know axes work like they do in Castlevania, so probably won't be that. Boy, I wish I knew what other Ghosts and Goblins weapons there were. I guess if they wanted to go really nuts, I could do like Maximo. Originally all I played with Maximo was a demo way back in the day. I thought the demo was cool, but I guess I just never got around to picking up the full game for some reason or another. I suppose these days with Resident Evil and Monster Hunter making bank for Capcom, they probably don't have much reason to revisit Maximo now. I mean, they didn't even put him in as a reference for Marvel vs. Capcom, if I remember correctly. Probably a bit of a shame. I imagine there's a lot of Capcom franchises that at least someone out there is a big fan of and just wondering why Capcom hasn't done anything about it at all. I know. Really old game my younger brother got once that was called Chaos Legion, I think. It's kind of like a spectacle action game in the vein of Devil May Cry, except in this game people got these stand-like things called legions that would fight alongside them and do fancy moves with them. I think that only got one game. We'll get a second one. It's kind of crazy just seeing how far this game has come since the early days. Like, boy, I remember when this game was just like 2 stages, handful of weapons and passives, and like few characters. Excuse me. And now we got like 4 main stages, 4 bonus stages, more characters you can take a stick at, and the same goes for weapons and passives. There we go. I think that's part of the... This is, Vampire Survivors is like one of the excellent examples of, a game where early access just has helped it a whole lot. As you can imagine, just all the traction it got suddenly one day when a bunch of people just started playing it going, hey, this is a $3 thing and it's super cool, you will get your money's worth out of it. And they were right. And look at how much further it's come since then. So, on that note, I do remember watching another stream where they were bringing up a review that one site did. I gave it a 7 out of 10, and they were balking at it. They were going, boy, why is this a 7 out of 10? I would easily rate this a 9. And this makes me think. One, I would agree that I would rate this pretty highly, at least from a value to cost ratio. You will definitely get your money's worth out of this. But on the other hand, come on, it's a 7. That means they thought the game was good. They didn't come out and say, oh wow, this is a piece of garbage, I didn't understand why everyone loves it so much. And they said, yeah, I like it, but I kind of maybe worry for its future prospects, which you know. You kind of look at it from where they're reviewing it from. Yeah, I can at least understand. I mean, sure. For a lot of people out there, this absolutely scratches their itch. It's simple to get into, and you'll definitely lose a lot of time in it. But kind of several months out, you can kind of sort of see where he's coming from. Not too many people are talking about it now. They still regard it highly, but like, again, the reviewer rated it 7. Kind of funny how much people just get annoyed by what is basically a person's opinion. Especially when the opinion they said is like, you know, this is good, right? And they didn't even say anything bad about it. They're just like, yeah, this is good. Like, some people just not seem to accept that there may be folks out there who do not think that a particular thing is the greatest thing since sliced bread, which is a shame. On the other hand, yeah. This is something I always like when you get to a point where so many experienced gems are underground, the game just like shoves all of them into you, and then you just get like a ton of level ups all at once. Alright, one more Arcana. Which one should I pick up? Oh, what's what I have? Guess the freezing one would be best. This is one thing I like. If you don't have any more things you need to upgrade, the game will just let you take coin or health. Which they can actually come in handy when you're reaching towards the end, and you might not have the DPS required to keep all the enemies at bay. Just have to hope you get enough level ups along the way to keep yourself alive until you hit the time limit. Hit another leveling blitz. Where is the wing? Oh, you should pay attention to the arrow. It's up here. Alright. There it is. And I can move faster. I can move faster into my death. Now I gotta admit here, I didn't even realize this weapon was a reference until one of my friends pointed it out. Admittedly, I have not played the game that this this weapon is referencing, so I guess that might be part of the reason why, but boy, again, it kind of tells you a bit about the developer that they would put in a reference like this to an old Saga game. Don't get me wrong, it's neat, but you can tell the developer has been around. Sure. Vtuber is probably one of the crazier things they've added to this game. But yes, why not get more money? Sure could use more money for my money. Admittedly, now that they've added golden eggs, yes, there's absolutely a reason to keep getting money. Oh man. just keep trying to get passives, especially since I don't exactly need them. So yeah, I think the most recent update actually added like a special item that just it says it covers hidden items, so what it does is makes available 4 specific passive items that appear in every level. They allow you to upgrade 2 weapons that were previously considered to be not too great. The Clock Lancet and the Laurel. You know, they had their uses. The Clock Lancet shoots a ray that fires enemies it touches, that freezes enemies it touches, and the Laurel gives you a shield that protects you from hits. Which actually had a very specific use for defeating a certain enemy that you encounter at the time limit. But now these passive items that show up evolve them into much more useful versions. The Clock Lancet becomes a cloak, I believe, or... well, it upgrades... what the upgrade does, it halves HP of all on-screen enemies. You can imagine for anything that's really bulky, that's an extremely useful weapon to have. And the Laurel, this becomes like has really good protection ability, and also deals damage to anything that tries to attack you. So imagine having those two in tandem makes the end game a lot more manageable. That said, the requirements to evolve the 2 weapons are much more stringent because you not only have to get the 2 passives, you also have to max out the upgrade level for those passives. And for them, they have 9 levels to upgrade, unlike the 5 or 2 that the other ones have. So imagine you have to first run towards them to collect them. And if you don't want to like completely take over the strategy, you kind of have to putz around until you get 6 other passives so that you can just pick up the other 4 over the limit. And then you have to spend like 26 upgrade levels on them, which takes a bit of luck and a bit of planning. I think that's where being able to optimize your DPS probably comes in handy. Obviously, if your goal is to just reach 30 minutes, that's not too bad, as long as you know about evolutions and have a pretty fair grasp on passives. But if you want to do something like evolve the Clock Lancet and Laurel, so require a bit more planning and forethought. Vtuber. Yes, I will take more money. Thank you very much. Boy. There's an achievement in this game that requires you to pick up 5,000 coins in a run. I remember back in the day that was actually a bit of a challenge to get. Especially since you didn't have things like Gold Fever to kind of help your way there. I think it actually required you to go to the second stage because that one just has on the field a passive item that increases the amount of gold you gain. So you would get that and like get the power-ups that also increase the amount of money you earned in a run, and then you would just try to hit the get all the destroyable items and enemies and hope that you get them. We're nearing 2 minutes and I don't think I'm going to be able to upgrade my weapons all the way. Definitely not gonna be able to reach any other passes, so I'm gonna just sit here. Yeah, wow, look at that, I just like absolutely vaporized that clock guardian. So yeah. Eventually you reach a point where you're just walking bullet hell like this. Basically just waste to everything in your path. I can absolutely see why people would consider this the absolutely fantastic game, but on the other hand, I'd be willing to cut slack to those who might not be as into it, right? Yeah, no, I'm paying lip service to those who might just go, I don't understand why everyone loves this game so much, but on the other hand, hey, they're not required to think this is the most amazing thing ever. Imagine most people who enjoy this game probably also don't think this is the most amazing thing ever. It's just a really good game. For the price, you'll get your money's worth. And for that, I give it props. I think I remember reading that the developer didn't expect this to blow up as much as it did either. Just a mix of the retro styling and simple but make the numbers go up style of gameplay. Just really scratches the itch. Especially since there's a hard time limit in this game. I imagine people might not be able to reach it the first time around. Yeah, definitely that kind of game you can just open up real quick, maybe play a run or two, and then get on with your day. Ah, we fit the 30 minutes. So yeah, as you might know, after you hit the time limit on the level, Red Death appears. And pretty much just lay waste to you. Actually defeating the Red Death requires the Forethought, which is where the evolved Clock Lancet and the Laurel really come in handy. Yeah, this is another fun part. A little stat tracking for those who might be really into it. You can see the DPS of all your weapons, the items you picked up, the things you destroyed, what arcanas you have. You can see here my butcher this, the Viragi, the most damage and the biggest DPS. So I think what I'm going to do is take a quick break. We're getting a little scratchy, so I need to get some water. I will be right back. I'm back, and I have water. Hour will go by a bit more easily. Eh. That's one thing I've noticed. Who speak a lot. Guess I'm always going to be amazed by those people who just seem to be able to talk endlessly without suddenly having to cough a whole lot more. I imagine for most people it's because they just have water at hand, but those folks who just seem to be able to just talk repeatedly without any issues whatsoever, that will always mystify me. So for the sake of this, I'll try another character. The Red Death. So to get the Red Death, you have to defeat the Red Death that appears at the end of the run. So as you can imagine, before Evolved, Clock, Lancet, and Laurel, it took a bit more planning. I think the one way that people realized was kind of your best shot at actually defeating it was to go to the second stage, the library, kind of just take advantage of certain quirks. Like you would pick the one character that started out with a temporary area bonus and the reflecting stone, and then you would go to a particular corner in that stage and just camp there until the 30 minutes hit. You would go and level you up after the Red Death appears, and then try to kill it as quickly as possible. That would be your best shot at defeating it. But now that they have the Evolved Lancet and Evolved Lancet and Laurel, not that much of an issue. So since I have like the reflecting Arcana, probably want to get rid of the ones that don't have reflections. Ooh, wow. Red Death is pretty swift. Although I will get the Rune Tracer. The armor is on this, so probably be worth. Just make a character that just has bounces, things that bounce around everywhere. Not picking up. I'll go to the upper left so I can pick up the armor and then evolve the Rune Tracer. Yeah. Okay. Drop anything worthwhile. I always felt like that was kind of one of the disadvantages of the roguelike games, that unlock more things as you play. Because eventually that selection pool becomes bloated, and the things that you want to pick up will show up less often for the sole fact that there's just more things to pull from. So it just becomes this game of push and pull, where the advantage of getting more stuff comes with the advantage of having more stuff to get. I know one other game that I don't play but I hear about a lot, Binding of Isaac, reached that point where from all the expansions they had, eventually just reached a point where the items some of the items had like really cool synergies, and you would need certain ones to have particular builds, but the odds of finding any one item were astronomically low because of all the updates and expansions that just kept adding stuff for you to get. I guess you see other games trying to mitigate that in some way or another, like with Enter the Gungeon, where they specifically added a chest that when you open it will give you an item that will specifically synergize with something that you have already. other games, like I think Risk of Rain 2 or Dead Cells. I think it was Risk of Rain 2 where they said they would try not to add too many items specifically so that they can avoid item pool bloat, which I can respect from a certain point, but even so. Definitely something just feels good and bad, especially if you know you have to pick up certain items in order to unlock other ones, but like, man, really don't want this one in the pool because it's just gonna be one more item that I'm not going to pick up ever. Like, right now I want the knife to show up, but of course it might take a while for the knife to show up. I'm just gonna have to keep waiting and hoping that the knife shows up at some point. Also, I'm waiting for like specific passives to appear, which I know only 15 levels, but still, it's like wanna get my slots filled so that I can run out and pick up the other passives and not have them take up one of the 6. I'm surprised on how quickly Red Death moves. %, twice as fast as the usual characters. Oh wait, I should have picked up the bracer because I was going to pick up the knife later. Well, hopefully that's not the last time I see the knife, the bracer. There's some equipment out there that seems to be considered like standard that you kind of need if you want to become a streamer. I know one of them is like a stream deck. I think I saw my brother have one of those where it's like programmable buttons that you can use to just automate some of the stuff like transitions and what have you. Yeah, because currently I have to like tab over to Streamlabs in order to do the transitions and stuff, but it would be nice to have that more smooth transition. You don't have to worry about, like, say, audio interruptions for games that might not play audio when I tab out of it, or something like that. The disadvantage of having high move speed is items get to you, items kind of take longer to get to you. Jeez, 5 minutes in, I haven't even gotten halfway to my passive items being filled yet. Could have if I didn't miss out on that bracer. Seems like another type of equipment that people seem to rave about is a Go XLR. From what I've seen, it seems to be just like a pretty fancy volume mixer. I wonder if I could just like perhaps get by with just a volume mixer. Imagine there's something out there that has like something that the Go Solar can provide, but it'll be cheaper. I looked up the price of Go Solars in there, and it definitely will require me to break the bank a bit in order to pick one up. So I can just get by with a volume mixer and like do that instead. Now we're getting to the point where I'm starting to introduce stuff that I don't want. I'll save my rerolls for the Arcana, and skips are not something I want to use. That's like a last resort type of deal. That's where if I run out of rerolls and banishes and just have a list of items that I absolutely do not want to pick up any one of, then I'll just have to resort to that. For goodness sake. Since I have to reflect the Karna, this would probably be worth picking up. I was kind of disappointed that the two gun items shoot in the same directions. My personal thought is that one of them should fire in the diagonals and the others should fire in the four cardinal directions. At least differentiate them a bit more than just, oh, they now have effects from different Arcana. I guess just help differentiate them. Since now, if you pick up the right Arcana, the red one will explode, and the blue one can potentially freeze enemies. Even then, I would prefer them fire in different directions. I think that would just help it differentiate them a bit more. Alright, got all the weapons. I still only have 2 passes. Oh, such is the nature of sort of RNG games like these. Sometimes you not get the things that you want right away. Just have to hold out. Ah, Racer, just as beautiful as the day I lost you. There it is, Green Death. Alright, now I need to find a minecart. Not been used. Have to make sure that the Green Death is parked in front of the tracks. Dang it, did I? Alright, I need to get over here. Please, please. A little closer, a little closer, a little closer. Oh, shit. It's right where I want it. Ah. I think I was too late on the timing, because once you defeat the Green Death, you have to very quickly press down and enter in order to unlock the character, unfortunately. I was not quick enough. I think I missed out. Is on top of a low spawn rate for Green Death also. Dang it. When I read only down and enter is the accepted input, you can't do like say a controller input or something like that. Which absolutely blows because, boy, if you do a controller input, this would make unlocking that character much easier. Half tempted to just end this run right here, as I know. Because the Green Death is specifically what I'm trying to go for right now, so there's not much point, apart from money, in continuing this run, so yeah. far as I can tell, I think you get to keep everything as well, so... Might be just with my best interest to just end it here. Yeah. Alright. Have to be quicker on the draw. Keep playing. Keep the Reflecting Arcana on. Guns and the knives and the axe. I need to pay attention. I don't know why I picked that up. I'm an idiot. Oh well. Again, my goal is death. It's not fancy. Get things like these. All your choices are of things that you do not want, so these are freebie items to try to at least stave off the inevitable. Hopefully get the things that you want. One thing I appreciate is games with good soundtracks. I admit, it's a game that I might not be particularly into for the gameplay, but the soundtrack is just awesome, then I might be willing to invest a little time into it. I think the most recent game that has happened to me for that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Which admittedly I've played the card game way back in the day, so I have a bit of familiarity with it, but I was originally just gonna let Master Duel pass by because I have to admit I'm not too much into it, but then I watched some gameplay of it and I listened to the soundtrack, and oh my god, does that soundtrack go hard. Like, every other card game, video game I've seen kind of has the ambient type of music, whether it be whimsical like Hearthstone or perhaps a bit more in we say ominous or intense like Magic the Gathering Arena, but with Master Duel it's just kind of comes out the gate with this big bombastic tunes. Admittedly it starts off with the ambient stuff, but once you get your big monsters out or one of the players is on the ropes, then the dramatic tunes start playing. And I remember just going, oh my god, this is music for a card game. Usually it doesn't make usually games like those don't have that kind of music, but when you consider that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Card games are just the most serious business. Like, games could be these absolutely high stakes affairs where if you lose, then your soul, then you get sent to the Shadow Realm. And the super dramatic soundtrack makes a lot more sense. Like, yes, please give me the ominous chorus, the big brassy horns, the dramatic strings. This is exactly the kind of music I want to hear when I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of spoiled me because I can't imagine playing any card game without having the big dramatic music like in Master Duel. Like, I remember going back to play Shadowverse Champions Battle on the Switch, and I just had my browser open on YouTube for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel soundtrack, and I would just play the appropriate soundtrack at certain parts in the duel for Shadowverse, and I remember thinking, wow, this makes Shadowverse duels just feel a lot more dramatic. Speaking of Champions Battle, that'll probably be one of the other things that I will pick up one day, is a capture card, so that I can perhaps start streaming games that I play on the console. There are several console games that I want to perhaps pick up. Maybe streaming will be incentive for me to actually drop into them. Not sure what I would play first. It'll probably be Shadowverse, and then it'll give me motivation to perhaps finish that game at least. I know at least I picked up the Season 5 Battle Pass because that has the extra cards that you can pick up from it. I know it used to be that you couldn't complete the missions unless you were playing online, but I think they changed that. Like, I remember reading it somewhere that they changed it so that you would be able to make progress on the missions even if you were playing the single player matches, so that's why I picked up the Season Pass. At least that one has the gameplay affecting cards that might be fun to have. Yeah, that unfortunately perhaps ties into completionist mindset. Like, if none of the season passes had cards, I wouldn't have even bothered with them, but since the last season pass does, like, yeah, I'll get that one, get the cards. Probably won't use them because apparently they're disgustingly overpowered, but I'll have them. That's probably a really dangerous mindset to have. But, you know what? A game like Shadowverse that I picked up on sale and has provided me with a fair amount of entertainment, I'm willing to drop a little extra to give them a little more support. Maybe, hopefully that'll give them a little motivation to perhaps put out another game for another game of the sort that perhaps has more sets from the main game into it, because I know ooh, this is the fun part. This is one you don't skip. You do not skip the 5-item chest. Boom, boom, boom. I love a good musically timed moment. That makes you feel really good getting 5 items from a chest when they introduce them to you on the beat. It's really satisfying. But anyways, yeah. I know Champions Battle only has the first 3 sets and like a couple extra cards, especially designed for a Switch. My hope is that they got enough positive reception from the Champions Battle on Switch that they'll consider making another offline Shadowverse game that has cards from the later sets, because I would be totally willing to buy it and play it. Especially since they have that new anime series out. Kind of like the sequel series would be a perfect excuse for them to put out another video game, offline video game for them. Yeah. I remember when the Shadowverse anime was first announced, and I have to admit, I could totally see why people were super annoyed that they decided to turn it into Yu-Gi-Oh! Light rather than, you know, focusing on the story that the main Shadowverse game had already going. Like, why not turn that into an anime adaptation? Why suddenly change this into a high school and make Shadowverse some sort of app thing? And from what I've heard, the first anime was actually perhaps skippable. Like, you didn't have to worry about it because it was not worth watching, even though they somehow managed to get like 50 episodes out of it. Which I guess makes me enjoying the video game weird because it's very much a video game adaptation of the anime, which was an adaptation of the card game that you can play on mobile and PC. But, I don't know. I guess I just found the whole school setting tolerable when it's in a video game form. I guess it sort of helps that you're kind of playing as a separate character, and of course you get that amusing moment where the guy who's like the main character in the anime totally treats you as the hottest thing around, which I guess kind of funny. But what I've heard, the sequel Shadowverse anime is actually a lot better. Mostly because, say, the main character isn't some boring invincible guy, and they actually show a lot more of the card game too, and the strategy. There's a lot more thought put into the card game part of Shadowverse, which is kind of what. If you're not gonna adapt the story, at least you do the work on the stuff you actually want to showcase about the game you're adapting the anime for, which I can appreciate. That's the only other card game, video game that I've touched with any, that I played any sort of regularity was Magic the Gathering Arena. That was way back when it first came out. That was like when Hearthstone captured the hearts and minds of the internet. People had good things to say about it, about how it managed to make the card games feel impactful with what it did, and Arena was kind of their Wizards of the Coast attempt to give Magic the Hearthstone treatment. They did a pretty good job of it. You could definitely tell there was production values put in there. They had the ambient thing going, but the impactful animations and lots of voice acting. And really easy to get into. I guess it also helped that for a while there, they were doing cross-promotions, where you picked up physical Magic products, you could input a code and you would get like the digital copy of that deck, or like packs or things like that, or Arena. I think like the early days of but yeah, and then they had like the free codes each season where you could put it in, you get 3 booster packs for that set that just came out. I know I have a cousin who's still super big into Arena, because it's largely because you can just jump on, play a game, and it definitely goes full into it. He always buys that 50 pack pre-release set. And he also gets the Battle Pass. If I remember correctly, the Green Death has a chance of appearing at the 3-minute mark, the 8-minute mark, and the 11-minute mark. And if they don't appear then probably not gonna show up. I know I didn't mention it before, but in order to have a shot at unlocking the Green Death, you have to defeat it in a special way. I know one of the ways one of the specific ways that gives you the shot at unlocking it is by hitting it with a minecart. As you saw before, it caused a little ghost to show up, and when that ghost appears in the corner, you have to very quickly press down and enter on the keyboard. And if you get it within the window, then you unlock the character. Fortunately, it's a very tight window, as you may have evidenced. As you may have witnessed. With that. Fortunately, we're 11 minutes in, and there's still no red death, so I just might call this one a wash. That said, each stage always has so the enemy composition changes each minute, and each stage always seems to have that 1 minute where they have that group of enemies that's just extremely easy to mow down, and you can just pick up experience gems with impunity. It's always really fun because that's the point where you see the experience bar on the top just keep filling up. Crazy. Pretty satisfying, all things considered. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna end the run here. I didn't see red death, and that's my main goal. To conclude that, and another. Actually, I think I'm gonna take a quick tour. Bonus stages. Some of them are fun. Now this one's super relaxing. This one gives you all passive items that are currently out, so just pick them all up and then go to town, annihilating everything. Now this is a challenge stage where it's just, yeah, it's all random. And this one they call it the Bone Zone, where it's just all skeleton-esque enemies. Pretty sure they just wanted to use the Bone Zone phrase, and how they did. Here. Because I like having every passive item. See what weapons I pick up. Just look at passives accordingly. Getting what I want. The thing with picking up all the passes right away is that doesn't necessarily eliminate them from the pool, it just... Okay, this isn't... out. I should just fix stuff. So... Man. So close I can't spot them. Screw it. Here, as well just pick them up. Why I held off, personally. And some of them are kind of useful. absolutely satisfying. Always agonized over what passive items to pick up. Well, you don't have to anymore, because they're all here. Alright, I'll just ruffle around with the stage passives, hidden passives as it is. Too far away. Look at that. I'll just pick up whatever item comes my way. Stage is only has a time limit of 15 minutes, so trying to be optimal just is not gonna be possible. Wait, this is a lot further, pretty far away. I can only imagine trying to get what these. A character with not as much move speed would probably be a lot more painful. Regen. The other dual guns at least. It's satisfying to see coins fly to you. Where are the blue guns? I want the blue guns. Giant enemy crab. Perhaps. Let me grab the game audio. Know how that sounds. There wasn't a new update recently. This one was, I think, a week or two ago. But yeah, it adds, this particular stage here, it adds an item that kind of, just... yes. Alright. Good to know it's good now, but yeah, yeah. There was like a period of time where people were salivating over these updates, but yeah. I think the big thing about this latest update was the stage here. Yeah, the Laurel did get an Evo along with Laurel and the Clock Lancet. They both got evolutions. They're tied to this stage in particular, so the first time you go through it, you get a key item that uncovers these 4 items that appear around the stage. It's the gold ring, the silver ring, and the 2 red items that you see. Yeah, this is the gimmick of this main stage, is that they just have all the passives that are just laying around very close to you, and you just pick them all up and go nuts. Yes, it's a bit of cathartic in a way. It's like the main runs, you're always just agonizing over whether you're gonna get the right passives or not, and so they just remove that bit for you. But yeah, Yeah, the first time you go through it, you'll get a key item that just unlocks the extra passives that you need to evolve the Clock Lancet and the Laurel, and their evolutions are like pretty absurd. So I think seems like they were specifically built in mind to help you defeat the Red Death at the end of a run. But so you can imagine the requirements to evolve them are a bit more difficult. So you not only have to pick up the passive items, but you also need to max out their level. So, and they also have 9 upgrade levels as opposed to 5 and 2 of the other ones. So you see the Silver Ring has 9 right there. So you can imagine trying to do all that and you know, getting your other passives for the yeah, library. It seemed to be the way to go before they added the Lancet and Laurel evos. Because like, yeah, get into the corner, make sure you have the Laurel, make sure you got the Lancet, and make sure you minimize your levels so that you don't scale Red Death's HP up too high. I remember the specific one I read kinda was like a cheese strategy. Used that character with the large area bonus. You park yourself in that little space. Then you had a super massive rune tracer there to block anything that tried to get in your way. Oh. Yeah. So you didn't defeat death, just 31 minutes. Yeah, yeah. Because they have the Arcana that just requires you to survive 31 minutes. Yeah, I can see that. I think this update. Oh yeah. Revives, super handy. Especially when you get the ones that when you get like the damage reduction stuff too. I think this update also adds another Arcana which requires you to survive 31 minutes in the tower, which well, that one's a bit more challenging because not only does the Red Death appear, you also get just the endless targeting of the blue circles and the meteors, so it's pretty much just to stay on the move or you're going to perish. And then at least still not too bad now that you have the Lancet and the Laurel evos, but it's something you gotta keep in mind. Yeah. I remember that one time I tried to knock out a bunch of achievements out at once. I tried to, I think, get level 99 with one of the characters while also completing some other requirement that required me to be at the tower, but I could not reach level 99 even though I was like doing as much as I could, so it's like, yeah. Definitely trying to multitask while trying to do the tower might not be the best course of option. That said, when it comes to like just trying to obviously build in a particular way to try to wipe out as many enemies as you can, the tower isn't too bad. Like, since there's only like 2 directions from which enemies can go, it allows you to perhaps get certain weapons. Like imagine the song is like really good at the tower because you're going up and down. This weapon hits up and down, so it allows you to just get a lot of them at once. Admittedly, if I just want to do like any farming strategies, it's always go to the library, because not only does that restrict the movement of the enemies, but it also has the stone mask, which can just pick up, get yourself a coin bonus, and farm money to your heart's content. That's the other fun thing about the key item you get in this stage is that yeah, not only does it let you pick up the new passives, it also introduces these new enemies that just chase you endlessly. They can be defeated, and they drop some cool stuff if you manage to do so, which we may or may not do. See what happens. Oh wait, nope, it did. Okay. So this is I think this is one of the other things they added for this update. It's called a golden egg, and it's basically just like a permanent stat boost to the character you're controlling. Now it's a very, very, very small stat boost, and the stat that it upgrades is random, but I guess it's like one of the things you can do, just, I don't know, upgrade your characters further. Yeah. One of the other things you can get in this stage is, oh, I didn't see what I was picking. There's a... Yeah, it's permanent. Across runs, yeah. It's just a permanent stat boost straight up. Very small, but imagine if you collect enough eggs, they'll get stronger. I guess it's something to work towards. Makes the numbers go up. Kills enemies faster. There's another thing I can show you once I complete this run, or perhaps once I pick up this item and get back to the center. Yeah. You'll probably have to pick up a lot of golden eggs in order to reach that point, though. Of course, by then you'll have like an absurd area bonus, an absurd might bonus, an absurd luck bonus, movement, and what have you. I think this is what TV Trips calls the bragging rights award. It's like the thing that you get is extremely useful, but by the time you get it, you're so powerful that you really don't need it. Golden eggs kind of feel like that. It's like, yeah, it's something to work towards, but you're at the point where you get golden eggs, you probably don't need golden eggs. That being said, let's see if I can make it back. Oh, wait, there's another golden egg back there. Yeah, this was a 0.1 revive. So, imagine, even to get one additional revive, I have to pick up enough eggs, and they have to decide that, hey, we'll decide to give you 10 of those 0.1 revives, and then you'll get your +1 revive for this character. So, I think Red Death I'm just playing for fun. Normally if I want to do like golden egg collection, I would pick Pug Nala, because I think she's got the best passive stat currently. Oh yeah, sure. That's basically me with Pug Nala, because I like uncapped might bonus. So yeah, I just save all my golden eggs for her. Alright, so I think this is the other thing they added for this update, is this shopkeeper fella. You first encounter him here. So, yeah, I see here they have a money sink. It's basically, oh hey, yeah, ton of extra gold burning a hole that you want to burn a hole in your pocket for. Yeah, you just buy a bunch of golden eggs for your current character. They also have these other weapons that rarely show up, but you can just buy straight up now. Yeah. Yeah, they really needed a money sink, and it's good they added one. And there's a 6th item here that will allow the shopkeeper to show up in other stages. So yeah, Guess that's kind of like a way to explain why the Shopkeeper didn't show up before, but now it's like, yeah, if you reach this bonus stage, you get that other item that allows them to show up on other stages, and then they'll show up there. In case I don't want to buy any golden eggs, so we'll just come back out here. Oh yeah, money sink. And now they got one. And it's probably the only one they need, admittedly. Especially with the small amount that stats raise and things like that. Like, yeah. Definitely something you can shoot for, but not completely necessary. I don't remember if they had the ability to re-roll Arcana before this, but I'm kind of glad they do now. Especially since when you get more Arcana, that means it's like less likely to get the ones you want, so it's nice to be able to just yeah, there's enough of them now that, yeah, you want re-rolls. Because there might be certain ones that you want to buff the items that you plan on picking up. And this is always the fun part. There's like so many experience gems on the ground that they just decide to shove the rest of them at you. Like, alright, we're gonna give you a bunch of level ups, please, please, please. Don't want you lagging behind. Ooh, that took a while. That was the last weird road enemy anyway. Sweet. I think I would be able to evolve that item, but here I am. Killed it. I can... Yep. Evo. The time limit of this one is just 15 minutes, so we're quickly approaching the end here. little frenzy of leveling up. Tracked orb. Give you even more experience. There they are. My inevitable repeated demise. Alright, Red Death got 5 golden eggs. Okay, well, there's actually one more part of the update. Fun. Yeah, this bonus stage is like 15 minutes. Which I guess kind of makes sense. Yeah. Alright, so there's one more. I can appreciate that in the music selection, so if you want to just listen to music or don't want to listen to the character-specific themes, you can switch back to the stage theme. Anyways. One more thing I think they added as part of this update. Let's see if we can perhaps encounter it. So yeah, we'll continue with this one. Ah, knife. For some reason they usually don't give me that right away, so it's nice that they did. Yeah, I'll take sample water. And the attract orb, okay. Off to a pretty good start this time. Oh yes, I would take the tome. Watch it not drop spinach. Try to max level the weapons. Right, so keep an eye out for Bracer and Tiramisu. The Bracer, Tiramisu, a spinach. We'll take up 3 of the slots. Probably want to save the 6th one for whatever weapon I pick up next. Which I imagine will be the lightning ring because I like the duplicator too much. Or actually no, I need to save the last 2 weapon slots for the Lancet and Laurel. Is specifically what I want to get, so I will have to ignore the lightning ring for now. It pains me to do so. Okay. Or where I start vanishing with impunity. These items. Banish some more. As I keep reducing the potential pool of items that pops up, that will hopefully increase the chances of the Lancet and Laurel appearing, which are the two that I'm shooting for at the moment. I'll take a spinach at least. Not go wrong with more DPS. Spinach or Tirgisu? Tirgis. Garlic. I don't want to see garlic. Garlic is perfectly fine as an ingredient, but for the purpose of this run, I do not want to see it. Pick up the bracer. I have the knife. Upgrading my weapons in the meantime. No weapons I can banish. The cross. Really determined to not give me the Laurel and the Lance. But I will take a duplicator. Remember to keep... Okay, now... this is a part where things get really harrowing. Because all I want... the only passive item I want now is the Tirgis. Oh, I got the Clock Lance at least. I should just use my last Spanish on the passive item I don't want. Slightly improve my odds of getting the Tirgisu. Now comes the agonizing wait where you just gotta awkwardly shuffle around the stage passes while you wait for the level ups to give you the drops you want. It's even more harrowing when you come across the hidden passes as it is. Now you got these persistent fellas running around wanting a piece of you. So I max out the duplicator just so I can remove it from the passives pool, which will at least free up that choice and hopefully give me more chances at seeing the stuff I want. What I don't want is a Song of Mana. Useful item in certain cases, but not for the purposes of this run. Fortunately, it means I'm out of bandages, which means I am now at the mercy of Lady Luck to give me the stuff that I want for this run. I think for the purpose of this run, all I really need to do is evolve the Clock Lancet. I could probably survive As long as I get the laurel, I should be fine, but obviously an evolved laurel would be a lot more useful. Hopefully I will be able to get it. There we are. Alright, so that's all the weapons, so now it'll just be passives that drop. Or new passives anyway. I still can level up the weapons I currently have. But once I fill up my 6 passive slots, I can now just start racing through the stage to get the other passive items. At least get me semi-optimized for the run, and for the purpose of this run I kind of want to be semi-optimized for it. Guess therein lies the trade-off you get, because if you keep waiting more time, the more time you wait trying to get that optimized item is less time you have to run around the stage and put the rest of your strategy into motion. Especially since evolving the Lancet at least requires an absurd number of level ups. Just need the Tirgisu. Picked up that tome in the meantime since I already have it in the inventory. Yeah, it's about adapting. I'd agree with that. You have to make do with what you get. Especially when you get a ton of stuff in the pool, then just have the... just adapt on the fly. You're not always gonna get that optimized layout, loadout every time, so sometimes you just have to make do with something that might not be quite as up your alley. But that's all you got. Okay. Gotta stick around here for now. If I don't get a Tirgisu by minute 10, I'm gonna just... oh, you know what? Never mind. Doctor, unlock my inhibitors. So now I'm going to race through the stage and get the other passives. Ah yes. Get all rerolls and vanishes. Well, rerolls... rerolls now I try to save for Arcana, so I'm definitely use vanishes a lot more liberally these days. Skips are kind of the absolute last resort, if I've run out of banishes and rerolls, then I start using skips. Again, that's an absolute last resort. So now we have about 21 minutes to upgrade the other stuff, which would be a fair amount of time, but I need a lot of level ups. Use the skips before I get my last upgrade for a bit of extra experience. I guess that would be useful, a little useful for the characters who have like the uncapped stats. Especially Pugnala, who has the uncapped might stat. Yeah, also for level 99, you're right about that, yeah. Does help you get you there a little bit more quickly. Yeah, especially since Since I really don't need money except to just get more golden eggs at this point. So yeah. Yeah, it's true. Can't use your skips on the money bag chicken. There's really no point. So, might as well just take the X, take that if you're given that choice. Oh, here we have a golden egg. Okay, I'm gonna circle it back. Pick that up. See, cooldown increased by 5 thousandths. That's barely anything. You pretty much have to pick up a ton of eggs before you start seeing an appreciable effect on anything. It's crazy. Got here. Yeah, 0.5%. Exactly. I'm gonna reroll. Still not what I'm looking for in here. Freezing generator explosion. Huh. So it appeared that the rerolls would just keep drawing from the deck. It's not like they draw any cards that have already appeared, so that makes rerolls a lot more useful than I expected. At the very least, for one draw, you can draw up to the point where you're guaranteed to get the card that you want. Of course, now that I've used most of my rerolls, the next draw will be... I'll have to settle with something at a certain point, but... Kinda nice that they do that for you. Egg. Yeah, that's 0.1%, 0.1 reroll. Yeah, if 2 or 3 cards that you want show up in the same draw. Oh, yeah, then you have to decide which one is more important. In that case, you would be suffering from success, as it were. Far away is okay. A bit of a walk. I think it was like when I was trying to upgrade the Lancet and the Laurel, where I employed the strategy of not picking up the post 10-minute chests until I have a weapon that's ready to evolve. Because that was the point where I ran into so many more additional level ups that I needed that I actually had to hold off on picking up chests, because otherwise I would waste my chance at evolving them. Ah, let me get to the good wave. I don't want to kill that bat just yet. I'll leave that chest alone. swing back around once I have a weapon ready to evolve for it with it. Alright, got my first Evo ready weapon, so once I collect the golden ring, I will swing back around. Admittedly, it's not that far away. Ah! There's an Evo chest right there. I'm gonna want to make my way back anyway. Yeah. Best part about evolved guns and having the tome is that you just get continuous lasers. Lasers for days. Pugmal is positively radiant. Back at the chest, so I'm gonna set up shop here. Just upgrade my things like crazy. So yeah, I will get myself an evolved Lancet and an evolved Laurel. Not sure why I keep forgetting what those names are. Well, my weapons not that the weapons stop showing up. Oh yeah, I remember. Oh, that's hilarious. Lasers will temporarily move backwards. Oh man, now I want to pick up the projectile arcana just so I can see the lasers move backward. Sounds so completely absurd. Although I know the arcanas that randomly affect the things like your projectile speed and what have you are a net positive on your stats, but I don't know. I just kind of dislike that they can randomly go down to 50%, so I usually avoid them when I can, but maybe for one run I will pick up the thing for the birds. Oh man. Yeah, now I want to do a run with the birds and the guns. Get that random projectile speed arcana and see what happens. Because that does sound pretty hilarious. Now we're back in the leveling blitz. Oh yeah, when you get like the super speed setting, seeing everything just fly at hyper speed is great. a lot of experience gems on the field. Okay, finally done with the level ups. Alright. Do I have enough to evolve? No. Well, you know what? I can evolve the knife. I'll do evolve the knife. Getting the Reflecting Arcana with the 1000 knife, or 1000 edge, is great. Just knives everywhere. Knives are out, and they're flying every which way. It's pretty satisfying. Yes, and when you get 200% projectile speed, you just feel like a circus star. Just flinging knives everywhere, like it's going out of style. I really should just get that tier Gisu upgrade so I can just get it out of the upgrade pool. No, I'll pick up the chest. I want to keep the chest there. That precious Evo. Maxed out Santa water, so I'll just pick up another chest now. See, I've picked it up before. Yeah, it's basically a makeshift rune tracer. Kind of funny how the Arcanas managed to buff some of the old weapons that you previously would not have considered for a run. It's like after a certain point, it's like you wouldn't have considered picking up the knife, but if you manage to get the Arcana that allows this weapon to just bounce off enemies, it's like, yeah, totally get the knife, and I'll totally evolve it. Just have a giant cluster of knives flying around everywhere. The Fire Wand was the one that really just got better, because if you get the Arcana that lets it do explosions, and then you get that, I think there's another Arcana that lets the projectiles reflect around, just an absolute beast of a weapon. Yeah. Now they also have Arcana that gives certain weapons freezing capability, and yeah, the Arcana just like gives them other ones the projectile bounce ability. And, yeah, there's things you can work towards. Imagine the magic wand with the projectile bounce and the freezing. It's fun. Alright. I think I'll be able to make it. 10 minutes left, and I'll have plenty of level ups needed, but I'm making good progress on getting them. Picked up tier Gisu to get it out of the pool, even though I could have upgraded the silver ring. Oh, I thought we were gonna get another level up blitz. But nope. Let's see. Required passives I was still not. Well, that was 21 minutes, so I think this is an Arcana chest. Alright, here it is. The last Arcana. 2 rerolls to get them. Ah, and just our luck, we happen to get the one that gives us a chance to freeze, and since we have the magic wand, I will gladly pick it up. I think I wanted to upgrade the Lancet, so I'll keep upgrading the rings. Or evolve the Lancet. This is a good wave. Nothing but gigantic swarm of I forget what the specific name of this enemy is. They're bowers. And just coming at you, just pick up experience gems with impunity. Oh no. Ah, good, I had no Evo ready weapon. Let's see, only 2 more weapons than the Evo, so I can perhaps pick up the rest of the chest with no issue. I just need to save 2 of them at least, so I always have the ability to evolve the Lancet and the Laurel on a moment's notice. And I'll just keep the... And given the choice, I will pick the upgrades that increase the number of enemies, because more enemies means more gems, which means levels more quickly, which gives me a better chance of maxing out the items I need maxed out. Oh, the rings are maxed out. I can evolve the Lancet. So I will do that. Ooh, and it's a 3. So that means we'll get 2 other upgrades to go with it. Boom, boom, boom. Here it is, your upgraded Clock Lancet. Infinite Corridor. Halves enemies' health. So, you can imagine that really, really, really comes in handy if you want to fight the Red Death. I only need 1 chest, so I can just safely pick up one of them. Just imagine it's no slouch with the regular enemies either. Just being able to have the health of everything on the screen really helps, especially since 2 of the passives you pick up increase the enemy's speed, health, and quantity and frequency. So yeah, you kind of need something that that can just crowd control everything on screen. Ah, the other thing is maxed out, so I can now upgrade the Laurel. Becomes a cloak. The Crimson Shroud. Caps incoming damage at 10, retaliates when losing charges. So, imagine, Red Death before could wipe you out by looking at you funny. Now, it's actually gotta put some effort into beating you. So yeah, those 2 items make Red Death a lot more manageable. So you don't have to quite fall back to cheese strats. Oh yeah. So, yeah, so for some reason, Red Death smacks you enough times to break the shield. You still got a little bit of leeway because if you're only taking 10 damage per hit, especially with something like Pagnala, yeah, you have to hit her 20 times before she falls. As opposed to, say, before, where Red Death gets one hit in and you're dead. Now, a lot more manageable. So for these last 5 minutes, we're just gonna go nuts. Pick up money. Money, money, money. Money. Alternatively, you could say, must be funny in a rich man's world. You don't even have to worry about Red Death's health scaling up by an absurd amount, because with the ability to just have its HP with every single time corridor activation, it's not that much of an issue. Oh yeah, sure. You have cooldown reduction, you can hit him a lot more often, which makes that HP go down a lot more quickly. Yeah, for sure. Definitely just run circles around death at this point. Perhaps if I put a bit more thought into this, I would also perhaps swapped out one of the weapons for Rune Tracer, since I have the Arcana I picked up also. The Freezing Arcana also works with the Rune Tracer, so swap out one of the passives for the armor and one of the weapons for Rune Tracer. And I get like a deep freeze along with the magic wand. Very high probability to just freeze enemies where they stand a lot. Imagine you coupled that with the Arcana that gives the wand's projectiles reflecting abilities, or bouncing abilities, then a lot of mass freezing you can do. Now I will settle just a screen covering amount of knives and little bolts and lasers and holy water circles. Alright, 2 more minutes till we get to the fun part. Now I'm leveling up like a fiend. One more minute to go. We get to the fun part. In seconds. And here we go. A little closer so that the holy water stuff can affect Red Death. Look at that. Trying to hit me. Stop trying to hit me and hit me. But I can refreeze it and my shield recharges. And make sure I keep the knives focused on Red Death. Maximize DPS. It has 184 times whatever 60,000-ish HP that it gets per level. So might take a few more iterations of Time Corridor to finish it off, but we'll get there. And we're about to reach the point where a second Red Death will appear and make this a bit more harrowing, but as long as I focus on one, I should be okay. Ah, there we go. This is the other part they added to the update. Ask not for whom the bell tolls. Here the music is fading out. And 12 rings. You get the inevitable end. Can't run from it because it'll just come more quickly. And just insta-kills you where you stand. Wanna get back up? Nope, it just kills you again. It doesn't even bother to wait for an invincibility period, it just slays you. So yeah, this is, I think this is the way the game is just saying, no, you're done. You are very, very much done. Unless they add some way to bypass this. But for now, this is very much the point where the game says, no, you are done. This run is done. Please finish the stage. Just end it. So you can see, the corridor's health halving ability is incredible. By far, most DPS out of any of the weapons. It's pretty easy. So anyways, I think that's like a pretty a fair amount of what they added in the update. late. So I think I will end it here and chill Vampire Survivor stream. Thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. We'll see you next time.